Next, I'd like you to welcome to the stage Niels van Stralen from ChainCraft.
Thanks, Paul, for having me on stage, and good morning, everyone. When we started ChainCraft in 2010, so already 13 years ago, since then we have been working hard to turn the chemical industry circular. We've seen a lot of developments the last 10 years, and it always went quite slow, the transition towards circularity, but the last years we have seen very good traction. And at ChainCraft we've seen our sales rising, and we have currently some very nice projects in our pipeline which will in the end lead to the realization of a very big full-scale factory which we are going to build next year. It's our vision that we foresee an industry in which all chemistry is circular. And it's our mission to provide sustainable chemicals to improve our daily lives. It's not only about circularity, it's also about sustainability. We are providing chemicals which can be used in a lot of industries. And we don't only want them to be circular, but also we want them to be safe. We are replacing a lot of chemicals which are toxic, for example, in pesticides applications, in agrochemical applications, and our fatty acids have the ability to be safe in the use of it. Cost effectiveness is, of course, another very important part of being sustainable, and that's what we can provide as well. We can compete with fossil and palm oil-based fatty acids, which are currently on the market. We do this by providing chemicals which are made from organic waste streams, of course, fully bio-based, fully circular, fully renewable, as well our feedstock as our product. And the nice thing is that our technology can be applied everywhere where we have food production systems, everywhere where we have waste streams. We are able to realize factories, to realize a stable supply chain, which we do not have always nowadays, with supply chains being interrupted by a pandemic, by other causes. We are currently dependent on fossil oil coming from oil-producing countries. We are dependent on palm oil coming from Malaysia, Indonesia. And we are able to supply the fatty acids which we need locally here in the Netherlands. We do this by a natural fermentation process, so we don't genetically modify our organisms, where we use what nature gives us. And this results in a tremendous positive impact and contribution to the sustainable development goals we all have. We upcycle waste streams, which are currently most of the times being degraded to energy for biogas production. We upcycle them to sustainable, valuable chemicals. Well, as compared to fossil fuels and palm oil-derived fatty acids, our process leads to fatty acids with a 50 to 80% lower carbon footprint, and the whole land use change discussion is not relevant anymore when using the type of fatty acids we provide, since palm oil can be replaced. What we do is producing C4 to C8 acids, fatty acids, which can be used in many industries. We do this with a so-called mixed culture fermentation, so natural bacteria which we provide an environment in which they can convert organic waste streams into short-chain fatty acids in a first reactor. In a second reactor, we elongate the short-chain acids with ethanol to longer-chain acids. And there we end up in a spectrum where we compete with as well fossil-based fatty acids as oleochemical-based fatty acids. Looking at the markets which we serve, and we start at the top right, that's the market where we currently supply our assets, is in the animal nutrition space. We provide fatty acids which are an alternative for palm oil-based acids and which give very positive effects to animals. Since they are gut health improving, the acids attack gram-negative bacteria in the gut, and they provide, they are a fuel for the gut development, leading to better feed conversion ratios, and in the end, a better result for farmers. We are moving to the agricultural space as well with our acids, as with the byproducts we are going to produce in our factory, mainly being salts, which are present in the feedstock. We are also going to the food and the flavor and fragrance industry, and then food industry, where acids are already being used as feedstocks. It's a drop-in market for us, which we are tapping into. And then in the top left corner, we have the chemical industry space, which is for us the largest space to sell into, where we have some very interesting applications in the home and personal care space, which we are targeting with partners, and also in the lubricants, plasticizer, and paints and coatings area. We have huge opportunities to develop products and to develop markets. The feedstock side, we have a very robust process, which is able to convert a lot of organic residues from all over the value chain, so being it or agricultural byproducts from food factories, fruit and vegetable residues from the food processing industry, but also post-consumer waste streams can be converted by our technology into fatty acids. And for now, our focus is on the pre-consumer part, so focusing on plant-based residues from the food industry, which we can convert into fatty acids for food, feed, and technical applications. And further down the line, we will go to post-consumer waste streams as well, which we can convert into assets for technical applications. We already scaled our technology with a factor 250,000, so from lab scale to a pilot scale to the small commercial scale factory, which you see on the picture on the right side. That's in the Port of Amsterdam, where we can process 20,000 tons of organic waste, plant-based fruit and vegetable residues, into 2,000 tons of fatty acids, which are currently going into the animal nutrition space. Our next step is to upscale this process with a factor 10 to a full-scale commercial factory, which is going to be realized in 2024-2025. We are currently working on the feedstock, on the process, and on the offtake side. We recently signed an LOI with a leading agri-food company, which is providing a location, which is going to provide us the feedstock, which we are going to convert into assets. A very long-term contract for several hundred thousands of tons of input. We are currently working on a basic engineering package, which is well underway, and above all, and I think one of the most important aspects is, of course, the sales, the commercialization of the fatty acids, and we have up to now several LOIs in place with leading chemical players, which are developing applications in the home and personal care space, in the industrial chemical space, and in the animal nutrition space, with volumes which are way larger than the 20 KT, the 20 KT per annum plant, which we are going to build. So the challenge after realization of these contracts is to have the funding in place. We are aiming for a 100 million round, of which most probably 20 million will come from subsidies, and the other 80 million we will start raising somewhere later this year. From venture capital funds, from debt providers, to be able to realize our vision and to construct this nice full-scale factory, which will bring us a step further. Thank you.